So I'm going to read from the very beginning because of the just of the words of the Sifra, of the PATACH ELIYAHU here. It says, Ribona Holomim Antu Ilus ala Ilus Sivus Asibus Da Ashke the Ina the Bahahu Neviu Bahahu Neviu Ihu Kanishmas of the Gufa. So we're in the Panemius, and this is where we came to yesterday. Yesterday says he says the Ihu Chaim the Gufa, which is the life force for the body. And then we'll read a little bit here. We're on the word ubach. Bach list dimyan v'list diyukdom v'kol mal v'lagov v'labar. V'rasa shemayim v'ara, and you created the heavens and the earth. V'afikus b'nechom shemsha v'sihura v'lovaya mazle. Uv'ara ilonin v'deshayim v'ginza de'edin v'hevan v'ofin v'nunin v'neinasha. Now that's where he blocked it out here because he has a vort on a blurb on the next part. Let's look into the Pirush Rahut, and we're on the word ubach. So ubach and in you, l'or ha'ein. So we're talking about what? The light of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu ha'me'ir b'pnimius kol ha'olamos, which shines into the inside of all of the worlds. V'kol ha'sfiros lis dimyon v'lis diyuk nocha b'kol mal d'lagav v'labar. So we have this phrase now. He says, Ein dimyon v'ein temunah v'demus v'hasig ha'muhusachot, in order to be able to reach his being, b'kol masha b'pnimios, from anything that's inside of it, v'chitzonius olamos, kerafila b'pnimios ha'sfiros, because even if you looked inside of the formations of spheros, of holomos, and all the different combinations of worlds that we're talking about, ain't called dimyan. There is nothing that we could find there that could give us a tool to be able to compare that to the Ein Sof Baruch Hu. Ain't they called dimyan ve'erech le'etzem behirus, this is lashon shining, v'tzachos, and the clearness of the or Ein Sof ba'atzmo, that light itself. And this is a number ches, and we have a blurb down below. Let me see what I can do with it. 1 second. Number ches. So this, according to he says al pi ber v'chai roi. He says v'shas ratzon. That's another pirush. Beforish inyan l'gov l'bar, he explains what it means inside and outside. Al kava yosher, and he says he's speaking about the central line, the kava yosher, shel or ha'ein zo mislavish ba'ak. So this is ultimately going into the tzimtzum, the original tzimtzum, and the line coming of the Ein Sof coming into it. He says that this line of the Ein Sof is clothed inside of Ak, or Ein Sof Asoviv Kol Olmim, and then there's also the light of the Ein Sof that surrounds everything. He says, B'or Ein Sof Baruch Hu Gam B'Hahu Kava Yosher Hayored V'Nimshach Min Ein Sof Baruch Hu Mislavish B'Benimius Da'ak, and clothes itself inside of Ak. Less dimyon, there's really nothing to compare this to. There's no way to talk about it. The list diyuk nocha b'kol mal d'lagav, and there's really no similarity. There's nothing, no image like it. Mikol ma d'lagav, anything that's it, that we would say that is inside the panemius. We know that it's panemi, shuhu kav yosher d'lagav ak, which is the kav of yosher, which is inside of ak. Uluvar shahaku shahu Ein Sof Baruch Hu ha'mesavid l'mala called iguli da'ak. So this is talking about the two different forms that we have of understanding the yashar and the igulim. So then he says adkan v'chein ku b'zohar bo. In the Zohar in Parshas Bo, I guess, he said v'al mi adimyoni v'eshva. How to what can we compare it? V'al mi tidamyon kale. Lumad mus ta'archu. So trying to say how in the world can we find a way to grab over to some understanding to be able to see this. Also, the me'evid le'tzura v'diyukta ba'alma is forbidden to make try to make some kind of an image of this Ein Sof. Lo ba'oz hey, v'lo ba'oz yud, I'm not sure what that means. The b'shem kadisha, in other words, he says why did he start with the hey? Not with the letter hey, which refers to bina, v'lo ba'oz yud, which normally refers to chochmah. The b'shem kadisha, you're not going to be able to use them as a step to be able to find this. So woe to the person who tries to compare it to any kind of mida. Mida means something that is measured. So in other words, something you could grab a hold of. Filo me'inun midus delay, even the midos that God creates. Ad kan l'shono. Okay, so let's go back up to the top where we were before and read the Pirush Rahut. And the Pirush Rahut says like the Favama Od. Furthermore, ELIYAHU says like this, Hanavi, Klape Ein Sof Baruch Hu, Uvaros Shemaya V'ara. Uvaros Shemaya V'ara, V'afikus Minachum Shimsher V'si Robogo V'ara Mazal. V'hot says Mechem Shemesh V'Yereach. And he says, V'kochavim, Mazlos, Uva'ara Ilonin, and in the earth you make trees, V'dishayim, V'ginsa de Eden. So he said, what's this V'ginsa de Eden? V'eretz Barasa Ilonos, V'dishayim, V'gan Eden. V'haven, V'ofin, V'nunin, V'savim, V'chayos, V'ofos, V'dogim, V'nei Nasha, V'nei Adam. Okay, just going through that, those are all the things. He has no real major comments on any of that. And so now we'll come over to this little blurbicito over here, where he says, well, let's read the top first. So now he says, what's the purpose of all of this? All of this creation? And he writes, the ishtamoida b'chol miloyim, to make it known what's beyond us. And then exactly how does the upper worlds and the lower worlds work. And how to make known what's up above, what's down below. There is no ability to be able to know you at all. Okay, so there's some arichos going through this part. And let's look at the blurb, this little blurb that we have here. It says, now after he's listed the things we just noted, the sun and the moon and so on and so forth, and the fish in the sea, etc. What is the real purpose of having them created? To be able to use them, to be able to use that. On the one hand, he says that you're not able to make any kind of an image or try to understand that what is the essence of the Ein Sof. It's beyond us. But at the same time, the creation that the Ein Sof Baruch Hu has made, he said that creation is to be able to make it possible to understand the stamp, so to speak, that brings all of that shefa down into here. So he says, Shehi lihivadar al yadam, uv'em seusam, mitzius alamos al yonim, should be able to understand through them as a medium of what has been created, what's going on up above. So he says, Krucha b'hanhagos o ma'ase b'nei adam. So all of this is wrapped around what people do. B'olam hazeh, and this is what it says like this. So now let's come over and let's read the Pirush Rahut. So he said, he says all of these creations, they're all created in order to be able to have an understanding or a link to what's up above. L'das v'lahakir al yadam esor alamos al yonim. Ki called the Divrayim and his Kardim Shehem Achasavim V'Achayas V'Ha'ofes V'Nei Ha'adam V'Kol Shar Pratik Al-Bria. Hey Manafim, the Shorshim, they're really the branches that came off of a root. The Shorshim Elyonim, which come from the world beyond us. V'Manafim Nuchol L'das, and if you start to look at the from the branches, you can come to know as a Shroshim Aruchnim what's actually going on in the Shroshim Aruchnim. So there is a vort on this, and it has some length to it. Let me see how this goes. Let me read the blurb. I'm going to read the blurb here. Excuse me, not the blurb, the Pirush Rahut again. So he goes on to explain. Ve'ech Yisnago L'Yidich B'nei Yisrael HaTachtonim Kol Olamos Al Yonim, how it is that all of this works together. Ve'esh Ish Demon Me'iloi V'Satoin, how is it possible to be known from what's up above and what's down below? Ve'ech Yivodech Gedulus Ein So Baruch Hu, and how is it possible to understand the greatness of a Kodesh Baruch Hu? How it works, that this comes down and develops down from up above, something which is totally not physical, into something down here which is. So we look from the top to the bottom. Nika Gedulus Alukusa, we're able to see the greatness of his godliness, his Baruch Belyanim V'Tachtoin. Okay, that's the Pirush Rahut, and it's a basic idea. To take a look at what's going on here, to be able to look at what is here, and to understand the power that created it. Let's look at number Yud Aleph down below. Yud Aleph says, Al Pi Shas Ratzon Ber L'Chai Roi, because of Obezel Lashona Ma'ol Chagashmi Hatachton Hazer Ish the Modoyim Dugmasa B'Olomos Al Yonim. It's for the purpose of being able to understand what's going on up above. Gon Shimsha V'Sichro B'Olam Hagashmi Chazeh, so the sun and the moon in this world. Hem Dugmas Zun Sh'B'Olam Elyon, they're similar to Zochar V'Nok in the upper world. Like we understand like this. The principle is that the moon only shines because it has the light of the sun. B'nishbaz rak b'menu, and it gets its shefa only from the sun. Kain hanukva mekabelas orasecho, so the lights of the nukva of Zer Anpin, rak m'Zer Anpin. V'chein kli, this is the concept of giving and receiving. V'chein kol isvein v'cheifun v'ofin v'nunim, what do we need all of them for? Ubnei Nasha, and also people, kulam heimanofim, we're all branches. V'yesh lechem shroshim b'cholomas elyonim, and roots that actually come from non-physical sources. Kain min ha'ba'ulas yuvadach b'chakochos, so they're from the action that, I guess, the results that we see in creation. It's possible to understand the power that made it possible for them to be. Also, so they made the lower worlds of the upper worlds, the lower worlds, just like he made the upper worlds, or in the form in some way. He uses the word kakavna, the Almighty law. The dog koyim, the kabul dor, so this one exists in order to be able to receive from, I guess, that. The mechabi kula chad b'yichud chada, to understand that all of it is really one thing. So let's look over here and let's see. It continues. Actually, this pirush. Okay, and we're okay. So now we're continuing on in this Pirush Rahut, in the Makoros Vitzionim. So the B'Parshas Yetze, Ma Rabu Ma'asecha Hashem Kula B'Chochma Asisa. So we see that phrase. So and everything that's in the world. Same thing up above. Little talia b'mila achra iloh, there is kapda ole le'ela that was appointed onto it from up above. So the connection between them. Begin the kad is ira high lesata, because when the lower world is aroused, is ira hakud is pakas ale le'ela, also it arouses because they're connected actually. Hahud is takpa, that which was appointed onto it. I guess he means the the flow or the connection from up above. It affects that. The kuli is ache do bedo, because everything is actually in a state of oneness. All of them joined together. Kol mashe be'eretz kach gam lamala. So everything we have in this world, we also have up above. There is nothing in this world that is not pinned or hanging from or dependent on somewhere from something up above it. That let's say I had a direct chutma that made that image along milamala. In other words, the tamuna. That's the tamuna. Mishum shekesh because why? When there's a hisoris of this, the one that is down below, misora milamala. So that thing that caused the image to come about, it becomes also aroused. Because the truth is they're all holding on one to the next ad kan. So you see the sefer al Pesach ELIYAHU. So he said, now I really didn't look this up. The Riyaz, I don't know who this is. The Riyaz Margolios. Shehevi Maimari Zo brought the Maimarim of the Zohar. Rabbi Be'inyan Zed, he brings a lot from that. Because of him, and he writes further. Ha'ein Sof Baruch Hu, Sidr HaKol B'tachtainim, he organized everything in the lower worlds. Be'ein Simonim Le'elyonim, and there's signs, he says signs, Le'elyonim, to that which is up above him. Shebechem Yakira HaTachtonim Es Elyonim, because through them, then the lower world can see what's going on in the upper world. So here we have some kind of an image, so that we could be able to understand what's going on in the upper worlds. Now, before he talked about giving and receiving, that kind of idea. Al Yadam Adam Roa Umakir Belakuso, because through them Hashem is able to see, recognize the godliness in them. Now, I'm looking always for looking over here for more elucidation. Let's see a little more. Behavi od Mesefer Beber Mayim Chayim V'zel Lashonu. Lulei Masha Anu Roem Be'enenu Begashmis Haaretz Halazu V'tzivoeho. So all the different parts of it, all the different manifestations in this world. Lo Choyu Lonu Shum Tfisa Machshava Devarim Shalamala Mitanu. If we're not able to look at what is created, then it's not possible for us to have a thought that of where this creation is coming from. How do we know? How is it possible to understand something that's unformable? You can't have a thought about it. But only from what we can see in this world, that is the product, that everything is made in an image, in a form. I guess this word selim you have to work with a little bit. Elyon, Yuchel Misha Shechon Hashem B'deya. I guess this was the word Elokem. I think that's what the Aleph means. B'deya Ubida V'Haskell, that says Leiv Lahavin Davar Metoch Davar, so that you can understand one thing from the next. Like that again. Now it's a little bit more, and let's see what this says. Behaved Od Mesefer. 1 second. So he says, Vehevi Od Mesefer Or HaMeir, the Rebbe Zev Wolf, Mezitomer. So Zev Wolf from Vitomer. Shekasav Avapir Devarim Elu Tochochol L'Ranashim Mabavakshim Liftor Atzman Midvegas Abara. He said, the Devarim Elu Tochocha, a rebuke L'Nashim Mabavakshim, to men that would seek Liftor Atzmem, to excuse themselves, Midvegas Abara Betos Chitim Umazon V'Kisui Shehem Tordim Be'inyan Ela Olam Hazeh. So let's I think that what he means, he says, is that a person has to be able to look beyond the things and to be davek to the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, not getting involved in trying to provide food for himself, and mazon v'kisui, and clothing, shehem tordim be'inyan be'olam hazeh, which makes people involved in toiling in the inyanim of this world only, and bedamim ke'ido zida chas v'sholom no nivra ha'olam v'zecha v'chola the gashmi for the lechas achad taivos liba, that the whole reason for this world is to enjoy, just to take things and not realize what's going on. Maybe Divrei Eliyahu Navikan. So he brings these words from Eliyahu. V'rasa shemayim v'ara, we created the heaven and the earth. Even those, a person who has a mind, that you could see all of these things that came about, all of them have for himself, mehem, from these, a hint. The Chochmas of the Chochmas al Yonah, the Ish Nemoda Oros al Yonah. V'nimsa ein l'chol shum davar ba'olam shivata b'chesa'ad b'malachtoi or malachas hakodesh. There's nothing really that should stand in the way of a person so should nullify himself b'malachta or malachas hakodesh from being involved in Torah. So he said, other rabbi. Here he can really find comfort for his soul. Libo, to arouse his soul, his heart. Bekirvo inside of himself. Ek la'avod es abore baruch hu, how to serve Hashem. V'lahasik elyon betachto. Now, he didn't give me a practical idea, just a thought. It's a thought of how to see Hashem and what is created here, to understand the might of what's up above. Okay, so I'm going to stop